Arcade Deluxe is back at it once again with 2 new DLC cups. You know the drill, they release them and I review them. In the process, I give them a letter score because, well, I'm Professor Lance and I grade courses. Get it? Because courses can be a track and a class.
That's the joke.
So today, let's cover these 2 new cups, starting with the Fruit Cup. We're beginning this cup quite like many others with a tour track, and today it's Amsterdam Drift, and I'm about to blow some minds. I've been quite critical of the tour tracks as I find them kind of boring, but I actually kind of like the tour tracks in this DLC. Amsterdam Drift is a pretty fun track, but the best way I can describe it is turns. Lots and lots of turns. If you're not a fan of drifting, then this track isn't for you, because this track has a lot of sharp turns, so fair warning. The track begins in the city as you race through until you reach a ramp that has you go into a glide, where you're going to glide over this big tree until you reach the open areas of the drift course. I love all of the windmills and stuff in the background, and while racing, you need to make sure to hit those money mole holes in order to get like a trick jump and an extra boost of speed. You'll venture back into the city to cap off the first lap, and like many other courses in the tour, it kind of has differences for each lap. So in lap 2, it'll be an underwater section where you need to try to ride the air boost in the underwater section in order to get to higher ground to, make sure you can go faster. I'm glad they're starting to incorporate more of the modern Mario Kart gimmicks in these levels. It makes them feel a lot more special rather than out of place, kind of like how the Wave 1 tracks were. And lap 2 is really short, as once you finish the water section, you're done with lap 2. Lap 3 is my favorite of the course, as it's more on lane and visually it's really pretty. Make sure to dodge those trolleys coming, by the way, and try to get the speed boosters. This lap is a solid mix of the first 2 with open area, land driving, and underwater driving. I like the combo. My favorite portion of the track, though, is when you're driving in the big open field of flowers. It's really pretty, and again, I must stress, make sure to use your drifts here. This track loves turns. If you stick with that, you're going to do well. I really like this track. It's not amazing, but it's fun. I like the sharp turns, the music, and visually, this track is really pretty. The big flower section is visually just so pleasing, and I love the combo in lap 3 of laps 2 and 1. It's really fun. I wish lap 2 was a bit longer, as it is really short, but it's still a pretty decent track. I'm going to give it a B-. Riverside Park is our next track, and it's returning from Mario Kart Super Circuit. This track is decent, but it is really short, and that shortness admittedly holds it back for me. I love the gimmick. You're racing around a park, and you have to dodge all the piranha plants. These piranha plants are actually blowing up items into the air like some of them do in the modern Mario games, and these items are usually mushrooms and bananas, but if they're hit, the items will actually fall onto the ground, and when you drive back through on the next lap, you're likely to see these items and you can use them to your advantage. I really like how they also walk off of the ramp towards the end of, like, that cave section. I don't know why when I saw that I screamed because it made me laugh. But I will say, with the items changing and stuff and falling onto the courses, it does make each track feel a bit more unique, which I do think is really cool and can definitely change how each lap feels. And sometimes, you could hit the mushrooms to, catch up closer to first place if you're behind. I really like that idea. I just wish it was on a different course than this one. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember this track from Super Circuit, but it's also because it's Super Circuit. But with an idea like that, I'm glad to see it return because I think it could be done with a better track and be really cool. It's just held down by the length, sadly, and it doesn't stand out a lot besides that. So, I have to give it a C+. A personal favorite of mine returning from Mario Kart Wii here with DK Summit. Now, I know this is a video game, but I have to ask, how did Donkey Kong afford a snow lodge? He's a gorilla. Back to the main point, DK Summit is an excellent ice track. You're racing down through the summit, and it has lots of fun moments like the ramps you can use in order to do these really cool tricks in the air. It's what this track is known for, and it fits the theme of the track as it's what a snowboarder would do. I love the idea. It has tons of moments where you can perform these tricks, but you have to be careful at certain areas. Some areas can lead you to fall down the summit and you'll actually get behind and have to catch up, and it's so much worse in this track compared to the original. I often just drive through this area. Yeah, the boost you get's nice, but it's very risky. The later area has a straight shot, but you have to dodge Shy Guys that are skiing and snowboarding along the way because hitting them will hurt you, and I really like that. That part is really fun because you also have to dodge that and these big like plumps of snow on the ground, and if you go through the snow, it's kind of like the dirt and it'll slow you down, so obviously don't drive through the snow. Also, don't eat the yellow snow. But one of my favorite things is because it's a DK staple now, you have a giant cannon that shoots you up at the summit or whatever it is in other levels, and that part is the bane of my existence sometimes, because if you get hit by an item, you'll fall and have to be dragged all the way back up to the top, and a lot of racers are going to pass you and likely laugh at your face. I love this course to death. It's such a fun level, and it brings back so many memories of playing this course with friends and family. I gotta give DK Summit an A+. It's awesome. There aren't many video games in the world that are quite as charming as that of Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. A fantastic 2D platformer that I highly recommend to everyone. I love the game. So when I saw that Mario Kart was getting a Yoshi's Island track based on that game, I was beyond excited. This course is a love letter to Yoshi's Island for the Super Nintendo. It basically captures the magic of a lot of the world, puts it into a ball, and makes a racetrack out of it, which is really freaking cool. You have the basic beginning level being the starting of the course, where you have to dodge the Shy Guys on stilts, something I love, and there's also the returning Huffin' Puffin, which as soon as I saw them, I got really excited. I always just called them the chicken guys as a kid, but they're an enemy that has stuck with me due to their really interesting design. This track is already awesome, but it gets better. You drive up a mountain to see a big tower, and that tower is actually in the Yoshi's Island game as well, and at the top of the mountain you can reach a big ramp that shoots you up into the sky onto some clouds. Another level that is returning in this track, which is a pretty sick touch. While in the glide sections, you can actually hit the item clouds from the game. These actually give you health and other items in the game, which, again, is a super awesome touch. Towards the end of the laps, though, you can actually manage to get this sort of, like, red staircase to appear. I'm not entirely sure how you get this thing to pop up. It's always random for me, and I've had it actually not appear in one of my run-throughs of this track. These are actually the steps from the game that you can use to reach higher locations, and towards the end of the track is, like, the Yoshi's Island, like, end goal that you have to like jump through and throw Baby Mario through for the other Yoshi to grab him. I love that that's there. It's not like the end of the track because you have to still pass the finish line, but it's really cool. And do you want me to make this track even better for you? The coins here are the dragon coins which you collect in Super Mario World. This level also has different sound effects which are all based off of Yoshi's Island. The lap finish song is even changed to a Yoshi's Island song. If you can't tell already, I love Yoshi's Island the game and this course. It gets an A+, my favorite track in the new DLC Cup. It is incredible. The Fruit Cup is loads of fun, and it's one of my favorite cups in the DLC. All the tracks are quite fun, and ones I can't wait to play with later with others. Amsterdam Tour is a pretty fun tour track that definitely translated well to Mario Kart 8. I love the sharp turns, and it's visually pleasing. Riverside Park is decent, but sadly doesn't do a lot and does hold this cup back. Besides the Piranha Plant shooting items onto the course, it just doesn't stand out much. DK Summit is still a blast to play through with all the cool tricks you can do. There's a reason this track is so loved, and I hope I kind of explained it for you. Finally, Yoshi's Island definitely just gets points purely for nostalgia and the cool references, which is probably unfair, but it's my video and I love Yoshi's Island, and it's just a fun track. If you didn't play Yoshi's Island, you likely aren't going to get as much out of it as me, but it's still just really fun. My final verdict of the Fruit Cup, though, is a B+. 2 amazing tracks, 1 good track, and 1 decent track. I really enjoyed this cup a lot, and it's one I'm definitely going to revisit in the future. Before we move on to the next cup, though, I have to address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, Birdo in the room. This DLC pack introduces a new character into the game, that being Birdo. For some reason, they decided now to start doing the DLC. I mean, it's wave 4, and we have like 2 more to go, but, you know, whatever works for Nintendo, it's new content, and I'm always cool with a new character in a racing game. We'll be using Birdo, though, in the next cup, which is the Boomerang Cup. Starting at the Boomerang Cup is Bangkok Rush from Mario Kart Tour, and shocker, it's another track that I actually enjoy. What is happening today? This track is filled with loads of cool moments that make it stand out. Bangkok is a city in Thailand, just to clarify, and this track has a lot of shortcuts you can take, which I like. You can drive up a big ramp to drive over these tent roofs in the second lap, which is really neat, and it's just a cool thing to do. There's tons of stairs that you can drive up to take shortcuts, but you have to make some really, really sharp turns here to avoid stopping and, giving your opponents time to catch up to you. This can be kind of challenging, and you're likely to mess up on this on your first playthrough. My favorite part of the track, though, is near the end, where you reach a large section of tents that you have to kind of bounce off of and do cool, tricks and stuff in the air in order to get boosts. This section visually is really cool, and it's nice to have that adrenaline rush you get while you play it. It's incredible. This is a really short track, and I do wish it was longer, but I do enjoy it a fair bit. It's not my favorite tour track in this DLC, but it's a pretty fun one. I'm gonna give it a B+. Hey everybody, look! It's everyone's favorite Mario Kart track, Mario Circuit from Mario Kart DS!
Who?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I actually forgot this track even existed, and after replaying it, I remember why. This track is your basic Mario track, a course with grass and turns, and I'm already falling asleep here. It does have a few interesting things, though. There are piranha planes that shoot fireballs at you that you have to dodge, and if you're in a big group kind of driving through that area, it can be kind of hard to dodge these, but if you have enough room, they're very easy to dodge. I like the idea, though. You can actually see Peach's castle in the background, and you can't drive to like that track from Mario 64, but I appreciate the detail here. There's actually even a big wiggler that roams around the forest area of the track on lap 3. You can hit it and knock it down, but it sadly doesn't go crazy mad like the wigglers in the previous tracks that we've covered. A missed opportunity, as it would help this track stand out a lot more. If I have to give this track one thing, I do like how the light kind of shows through the leaves and stuff in the forest area. It's really pretty. Sadly though, I just think this track is just okay. It's there to be a beginner track and help teach you the basics of Mario Kart. It served its purpose in Mario Kart DS, and I thank it for that. However, it sucks. See, my thing is, this is a DLC with tons of crazy and chaotic tracks, and it just doesn't stand out. And I know we need these basic tracks in order to make those big, crazier tracks, more exciting and stand out more, but I don't know. This just didn't do much for me. I'm gonna give it a C- out of generosity. It's not bad. It's just basic, and it's there. It's a track. You can drive on it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably got a bunch of potholes and stuff, but it's there if you want to try it. One of the best tracks from the best Mario Kart game, Mario Kart Double Dash, is back, and it's Luigi Stadium. By God, what a track. I was so excited to see this track come back. It's one of my favorites in the series, so you can probably already guess what the letter grade it's going to get. Waluigi Stadium is essentially what if Mario Kart had a monster truck derby for a track. A super cool concept that is really fun to play. You have tons of ramps to jump over through flaming rings. The ramps from DK Summit are also here, and you can do cool tricks to boost your way to the next one to do more tricks. And actually new to this version of the level are the platforms in the air, and I can only manage to get on the first one. I haven't been able to really reach the second one yet, but you get an extra boost of speed by doing these. A neat trick that I actually learned from this level, or this version of the level I should say, is that you can actually skip the ramps and go faster by drifting your way around the ramp and using your boost to just skip the dirt. It will definitely get you some extra speed ahead of your opponent, so it's something I recommend if you're really big into that stuff. This track is fantastic, and I truly can't put it into justice. It's one of those tracks that I think you need to play, and you'll realize that, oh my god, I love this. It is incredible. Waluigi Stadium, like a lot of other Waluigi levels, clearly I just like Waluigi, gets an A+. Our final track for the day is Singapore Speedway. I've actually heard a fair bit of talk about this course from the people who play Mario Kart Tour, and especially before the DLC release, so I'm not gonna lie, my curiosity was piqued when I heard about it. And they were right with this track. This track is a lot of fun. The best Mario Kart Tour track, in my opinion. It has a lot of memorable set pieces, such as the big cannon that shoots you into the air where you'll glide to the next building. And I like that the building actually has a pool where you see Goombas swimming around. They have like little inflatable tubes and stuff. It's really cute. It made me chuckle a fair bit. There's a lot of gliding portions in this level, which is a mechanic that in modern Mario Kart games isn't used as much as the underwater driving mechanic. Gliding's more used for the wow, look at all the pretty colors thing for the game, but man, it does hit pretty hard with this level. It's really pretty. It has the whole city vibe to it, and there's lots of pretty colors that you drive through, and I do think the city section is weaker than like the driving on the buildings part, and especially when you're driving and gliding through like the big rings, but it's still a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna lie, the gliding through the big rings reminded me a lot of Superman 64, but like, yeah, very good way, I guess. And it's really cool, especially when you can use the ramps to like kind of boost your way to get to more of them. I really like that. I think that's really neat. And I really like the visuals more than I like the track itself, but the track itself is quite fun. Don't get me wrong there. And I have to add this. It is helped by incredibly good music. This level a lot, and I understand why people were so hyped up about it. It's loads of fun and my favorite tour track so far that I've played. I just wish it was a little bit longer. I'm gonna have to give it an A-. My final thoughts on the Boomerang Cup is that it's a fun cup. I prefer the Fruit Cup, personally, but that's not a knock against the Boomerang Cup. It had a lot of fun courses. Bangkok Rush and Singapore Speedway are really fun tour courses that I think transferred super well to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, especially Singapore Speedway with its visuals and fun track design. It's never a bad thing to see Luigi Stadium return, as it's a highlight of the Mario Kart series and has some really good course designs. It is sadly held down, though, by Mario Circuit, which is just kind of a boring track. It's bland, and it doesn't do anything super memorable. I've already forgot the name of it. I'm gonna give the Boomerang Cup a B+. It's super, super close to a B-, but it broke through thanks to Waluigi Stadium and Singapore Speedway. A fun cup that I can definitely recommend to you all. DLC Wave 4 is a fun wave and one of my favorites so far. It has a lot of fun returning courses from previous games with surprisingly fun Mario Kart Tour tracks. Something I didn't think was possible. I actually was kind of not looking really forward to this one because I didn't enjoy the last one as much because I'm getting kind of sick of the tour stuff, but the tour courses in this were really fun and they really exceeded my expectations. And it's helped even more by an incredible Yoshis Island course that I'm still a little giddy over. It has a lot to offer, and with the addition of a new character, Birdo, added to the DLC, it makes it more worth your money. We're getting closer to the end, though. We only have 2 waves left until we're done. And I'm very excited to see what the Blue Shell Cup in particular has to offer, since it's the last cup in the DLC that we know of. I'm also excited to see new characters come in. All I'm saying is bring back Dino Dino Jungle and Diddy Kong, you cowards. With all that said, though, thank you all for watching. It's always greatly appreciated. What did you think about the new DLC? Let me know in the comments below or on Twitter. And again, thank you all, and have a fantastic day.